Well, good evening, everybody, and good evening, Jonathan. So, Jonathan Edwards, you've given so much joy to so many people with your glittering athletics career, your work in the media as a bit of a guru, and also your charity work. So it's a great privilege and pleasure for me to welcome you back to Mildert College under very unusual circumstances, but hopefully we'll meet in the flesh soon. I just wanted to start in general with, some of these great achievements: Olympic, World, Commonwealth, European gold medalist, record holder. And I know each of these is in a particular context at a particular time. Is there any one that was particularly special to you that stands out from the rest of these wonderful achievements?
Yeah, probably my least favourite was the Europeans, although I was very proud to win it. If I was going to rank them, the Europeans were the least favourite. And then the other three, in their own ways, rank, very, probably the Commonwealth next. But the Commonwealth was in Manchester, so it was in front of a home crowd, which was very special. I was put under a lot of pressure by another British athlete, Philip Sidowu. So that was an amazing evening. So I really enjoyed that, and that was my only time to compete in front of a home crowd, major championships. The World Championships, I was 25 years this year. To break the world record twice. My first global title was remarkable, and then towards the end of my career to win an Olympics. The one thing that people expect you to win if you've broken a world record. The Olympics is really what the crowning glory of a career, and it's only every athlete's ambition in Olympic sport to win Olympic gold. So probably on balance, I'd go for the World Championships because of the world record. Which probably means more to me than Olympic. And I should say, it's worth saying this. People say, records can be broken and taken away from you, but the medals can't. You actually get a medal for breaking a world record. You get a plaque from the International Athletics Federation, commemorating each time you broke the world record. So I've got 3 of them. So nobody can take that away from me in the way that they take my Olympic gold medal away. So I always think that's a bit of a misunderstanding between medal and record, because you win an Olympics, but 4 years later somebody else is the Olympic champion, so that title is taken away from you. Yes, you still have the medal, but if somebody were to break my world record, I still have my world record plaque.
So I'll come back to the great leap actually the 2 great leaps in Gothenburg on the 7th of August 1995, which, as you say, is you're very close to the 25-year anniversary of these great events. But like anything, it takes a bit of time to become an overnight success. And what were the sort of immediate steps that you felt came just before the world record break? And was there a time in international competition you suddenly thought, actually, I can get the world record, I can get these medals?
In terms of getting the medals, 2 years previously in Stuttgart, I'd got a bronze medal at the World Championships. And I think that gave me the real sense that I can compete with the world's best. And then, somewhat ironically, I went to sort of hammer at tongs in my training the following winter season and ended up with a virus and a post-viral syndrome. I had a terrible 1994 and went into the preparation for the 95 season, not knowing whether I was going to be 100%. So my training was actually rather less than it had been the previous year, just to ensure my recovery. And in the first meeting of the year in Loughborough on a wet and miserable British summer day, I broke the British record. And 2 weeks later, I went to the European Cup in Villeneuve-d'Ascq in France and jumped a wind assisted 18 meters 43, which was way past the world. It was half a meter past the world record, but wasn't allowed for record purposes because So at that stage, the world record was on, and I had about 3 competitions all over the world record, but wind assisted. Eventually broke the world record in Salamanca in Spain in probably 3 weeks before Gothenburg by 1 second, 1798. So I went to Gothenburg.
Very close to 18 meters there at Salamanca.
Very, very close. In a way, it was good because I broke the world record, but I didn't break 18 meters. So that landmark was set up for the World Championship. Obviously, a much bigger stage. So I went to Gothenburg expecting to break the world record, but perhaps what was worse was that everybody was expecting me to break the world record. So there was a lot of pressure.
Right. I'm going to pinch a line from an ABBA song. I quite like ABBA, and it was in Sweden, and something in the air that day. Was there something special about Gothenburg? But because I little bit of research I did, there was a certain lady did pretty well also in the triple jump. So that was Inessa Kravitz, who also broke a world record. So, you know, something about Gothenburg.
I mean, it was a great championships. I'm trying to think of another world. I think there might be the 400-meter hurdles women's world record was broken in Gothenburg. I think Kim Batten broke Sally. Maybe was it Sally Gunnell's world record? Anyway, she broke the world record. Yeah. I think. But yes, it's funny that both triple jump world records were set there, and Kravitz still hasn't been beaten either. If my memory serves me correctly, I'm pretty sure it hasn't.
Yeah.
There's been a few people who have come close.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a special season for me, and I think wherever it had been, you know, had I jumped well, I was going to break the world record. I mean, I was just in super shape. My technique was brilliant. I was in a great rhythm, which is really important for any sporting event, but particularly the triple jump. Okay. With each phase building on the next one. So it was a great championship, but I was ready to break the record.
I think I wanted to just follow that up, but okay, you know, 25 years is a long time. The triple jump, especially to me, who couldn't do it, it's technically very difficult. You've got to be extremely fit. You've got to be at the peak of your profession. Do you think you actually, we've sort of reached the limits there in the triple jump?
Well, no, I don't think so. I think, you know, there will be somebody that comes along that jumps further. I think perhaps the reason that it's lasted so long is that athletics now is perhaps not the same marquee sport that it was 25 years ago. There's a lot more competition for the young, talented athletes. The increased professionalization of sport. So it's a good record, but perhaps the depth of talent within that event and some of the field events isn't so strong. And I mean, yes, you can earn a living as a triple jumper, but if you're a talented young athlete, you might choose another sport where there's more money, being perfectly blunt.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, you started quite early. You'd already won medals at school, and you sort of then moved on to university, and you came up to Durham. And I've taken a wonderful quote from the JCR president at the time, Rosie Dunn, who was president from 88 to 89. And she and I'll quote her now, "I certainly remember looking out at tees at Jonathan Edwards practicing an odd-looking hop, skip and a jump on the grass, never imagining the fantastic future in store for him." So you practiced on tees long?
I think there may be a bit of a poetic license there from Rosie.
Okay.
maybe that was after a few drinks in the bar. I'm not sure I was practicing. But what I did used to do, actually, I didn't so much triple jump. I think I did do some bounding on there used to be a golf course at the back of tees.
Yeah, well, that's been built on just in the last few years.
And I may have done a little bit of training, but truth be told, when I was at the university and when I was at Van Mildert, I was good, but I wasn't world beating, and I don't think anybody would have anticipated I would go on to break a world record, and I certainly didn't think I would go on to break a world record. I mean, I came to Durham not for the sport. I came to Durham for the academics, and I'd studied physics and worked very hard. And when I got to the end of my university career, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. Because my father persuaded me to give athletics a go, and I'd made some links with Gateshead Stadium and a coach there. He used to go through probably only 4 times a term. And another very good ex-Durham athlete used to drive the minibus up, John Solly. I think he might have won a silver medal at the Commonwealth Games over 10,000 meters. And to be honest, I mean, we had a few pints in the stadium pub, and then he would sort of drive back in not quite such a straight line as he'd driven there.
Okay.
That's a long time ago.
Well, yeah. Different times. I'm going to try and share my screen if I can, because I don't know if you can see that. Can you?
All right. So I've got a view of the college. Is that right?
Yeah. And what we did this morning was to mark out your world record on tees lawn. And so we've got my wife over here, and we've got another ranging stick here. And that's it. That's the 1829. And that is some distance. When you mark it out in tees lawn, wow.
Yeah, it is a long way. And I mean, often when I go into schools and give talks, I generally end up sort of walking out of the assembly hall into the corridor to get 1829. But yeah, I mean, it's a bit like with all the athletics events. You know, you put a bar up for the high jump, or you pick up a shot put and think you throw that 23 meters, and it's crazy.
Yeah. So I just generally, to finish up really, and obviously people looking in from Mildert and students, so be a little bit curious about how did you feel that being in a collegiate environment helped you in your career, both academically and then obviously your athletic career, as opposed to going to maybe a red brick university? Do you think the collegiate environment added to your education?
It was one of the things which very much attracted me to Durham, the thought of being in a slightly smaller community, getting to know people better. I mean, I lived in for 3 years. And again, that was very much an appeal. I figured, I was going to have to look after myself for the rest of my life. And being so well looked after at Van Mildert, I mean, I have very happy memories, some great friends. There was an informality to Van Mildert, which I was looking for, and I really enjoyed. And you knew pretty much everybody, and that was something which, having come from a small town in North Devon, very much community based. That worked really, really, really well for me.
Yeah, I think just finally, just to make a plug really, that in recent years, the wider student experience is now treated on an equal footing with education research in Durham University. And so there is it's a very important part of the university strategy now. And so particularly sport, music, drama, and for Mildert College, actually, outreach and volunteering. These are some of the key activities that are very strongly supported now by the university.
It's interesting. I've been chatting with the Vice Chancellor, and I think it's Quentin who's head of student experience. Because I was due to come to Maiden Castle for the opening, and I donated a vest and done some videos, and obviously with COVID we haven't been able to do that. But I in my meetings with the Vice Chancellor, we've chatted a lot about what's going on at Durham, and just echoing exactly what you said. And there is a great ethos which runs through the university, which was always there when I was there, but it's become much more explicit now.
Yeah. Well, look, I think we're sort of busy. You're busy with it. What I'd like to do is, I hope you're going to come back in person, and we can have a glass or two of Mildert Ale. And
I look forward to that.
Which has been bottled for us by Durham Brewery. So, John, Luke, thanks so much for doing this for us. It's been a real pleasure. So thank you, and we'll keep in touch.
We will do. Happy Mildert Day 55.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Bye now.